The Penguin Union Nation, Mr. President, please put down the ice cream cone. The Penguin Union Nation enjoys extensive civil rights and a great level of social equality, has a worth of 1,976 trillion Antarctic dollars annually, and its average income is 104,710 Antarctic dollars annually, with a planned economy and robust social programs dedicated to healthcare and education. We second only China and STEM graduates, and yet we have a great appreciation for the arts as well. And sure, our taxes are a bit high, but we're one of the safest, cleanest nations in the world. We're mostly a peaceful sort, but we're not to be trifled with, Mr. President. Our military is formidable, and with connections to both the People's Republic of Antarctica and the Sky Nation of Zwell, we're a mighty power in this world now. So when I say this, I say it with all... Please put down the ice cream cone, Mr. President.
Did you say something, Sonny Jim?
I'm saying that our country is more than capable and willing to step into the situations in Ukraine, Yemen, and Peru. And yet the UN, and the US in particular, is keen on keeping us away for some reason. Now why would that be?
Listen, Jack. Once upon a time I knew this one guy. Name was Corn Pop. He was a bad dude. Hey, pal, you ever see a Gladiator movie?
Oh, for goodness sake. I can't tell whether or not he's genuinely senile or faking it.
Still better than the former guy. Just barely.
Mr. President, I am a patient man. And the Penguin Council probably wouldn't want me contacting you directly. But my patience has its limits.
Hey, don't you review those cartoons with the big robots and the weird eyes?
I don't see the relevance to this conversation, but yes, I review anime.
Listen, Jack, why don't you go review an anime and leave international conflicts to the... Oops, got some chunky strawberry on my suit again.
I'm going to teleport over there with the Penguin Crystal and... Whoa, watch it, General. You can't just threaten the President of the United States. Listen, you senile old bat, pay attention!
Did I tell you about Corn Pop? He was a bad dude.
I knew we should have called Harris.
Anyone hungry for ice cream?
I love ice cream.
Truth here, and once again it's time for another year of Otaku Evolution. As always, we'll be looking at more animated fun from the land of the rising sun. Make sure to like, subscribe, and contribute to my Patreon. If you can recall back that far, you'd know that I reviewed the 2003 TV series Fullmetal Alchemist back at the beginning of this show's history. Since then, I've tackled the movie Conqueror of Shambhala, though good luck finding that video, and talked about FMA here and there in these videos. It's a franchise I'm a big fan of. The first Fullmetal Alchemist TV series aired while the manga author Hiromu Arakawa was still working on it, so they ended up changing a bit and wrapped it up well before its completion. But 6 years later, Studio Bones brought us Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, a 64-episode TV series which follows the FMA manga more accurately. Was it necessary? Well, that's debatable. But was it welcomed? Damn straight it was. In case you need a refresher course on the world of FMA, it takes place in a kind of steampunkish setting, in a European-style country called Amestris, which is controlled by a military government. The the science of alchemy, in which one transmutes or transforms material into other shapes and similar substances, is important to the state. Unlike in real life, where alchemy is but a fever dream of ancient thinkers, this alchemy is more like a magic, but studied like a proper science. Our main characters, the brothers Edward and Alphonse Elric, once tried to resurrect their dead mother with alchemy, with disastrous results. Edward lost his left leg in the attempt, and gave up his right arm to bring back his brother's spirit, Al lost his full body, and attach it to a suit of armor. Together they roamed their country looking for the fabled Philosopher's Stone to regain what they lost. Heartbreak ensues.
人間なんだよたった一人の女の子さえ助けてやれない
We're human. We're only human! You can't even do anything to save one innocent little girl.
The titular Fullmetal Alchemist Edward Elric is the eldest brother, and the biggest troublemaker. He can come off as cocky, short-tempered, and extremely cynical. This causes a lot of grief for the people around him, especially Al. But ultimately, Ed is a compassionate and sensitive young man trying to conceal his anguish. He can be prickly, but he's a strict believer in sparing his enemies' lives and that two wrongs don't make a right. His love for his brother and desire to return him to his body is his main motivation in life.
Alphonse! Look at me! I promise! Someday soon, I'm coming back for you! Just you wait! Wait for me!
Alphonse Elric, the youngest of the siblings, is more mild-tempered, even sweet and actively polite and well-mannered. He's a soul attached to a big honking suit of armor, so he's physically stronger than Ed, and certainly more imposing in appearance. He may seem pretty calm most of the time, but he worries that the bonding of his soul to the armor is fleeting and his time is running out. He also dislikes that he's unable to eat or sleep. The big lug just wants a normal life. But don't be fooled. He's formidable.
Not too bad considering it was my first time.
It's alchemy, but without an array.
Winry Rockbell is the Elric brothers' childhood friend from their hometown of Risenbull. She engineers artificial limbs called automail, including Ed's arm and leg, with the help of her grandmother. Her parents were doctors who were killed during the war in the region of Ishval, which Amestris annexed. She's obsessed with her work, totally in love with automail and all things with gears, but she also has a soft spot for Ed, despite their constant bickering.
Created through anatomical engineering! How wonderful you are! My automail!
Crazy gearhead.
You're lost without me, alchemy freak.
Roy Mustang is an officer in the Amestris military, and the Flame Alchemist, who controls fire with his ignition gloves and fire alchemy. His alchemy's pure power is overwhelming, making him possibly the most powerful single alchemist in the series. He's Edward's direct superior officer, and attempts to rein him in with little success. Roy is known to be a ladies' man too, but much of that is a cover. Roy is still haunted by the atrocities he committed during the war in Ishval, and has sworn to rectify his misdeeds by becoming the country's leader someday. To that end, he has acquired a close-knit group of loyal subordinates. He's not a man you want as an enemy.
If it comes down to it, just leave me behind.
Roger that.
You could at least pretend like you're willing to die by my side.
I'm fighting to live, not die.
And I'd rather die by my wife's side.
Yeah. Figures.
Roy's closest, most loyal subordinate is Lieutenant Riza Hakai. The daughter of Roy's alchemy teacher, she is an expert marksman, a trained sniper with a hardened resolve to protect Colonel Mustang and help push him up the ladder. She's a competent, supportive, reliable officer. Like Roy, she's haunted by her experiences during the Ishval War.
教えてください少佐。国民を守るべき軍人がなぜ国民を殺しているのですか。人に幸福をもたらすべき錬金術がなぜ人殺しに使われているのですか。
Maybe you can answer this, Major. Why are we being ordered to kill citizens when we should be the ones protecting them? I thought alchemy was meant to be used to help people. So why is it being used to kill them instead?
Speaking of Ishval, one of the early adversaries of the Elric brothers is Scar, an Ishvalan nursing an enormous, and pretty well deserved, grudge against state alchemists. They massacred his people, so he roams Amestris using his ability to deconstruct things to take them out. He becomes a big threat to the Amestrian military, and nearly kills the Elric brothers. But like I said, it's somewhat understandable since they killed almost all of his people. The brothers' most powerful enemies, however, are artificial life forms called homunculi, all named after the 7 deadly sins. There's lust, gluttony, envy, greed, my favorite, wrath, sloth, and pride. They were created by the series' main villain, who I don't want to say too much about. Each homunculus has their own unique ability, on top of being nigh indestructible because of their healing factor. They've been manipulating Amestris from behind and in front of the scenes for generations. One of them is the leader of the country.
あなたはこの国で一番偉い人だな。確かキングブラッドレー大総統。王は民のためにあるもの。民なくして王はありえない。キングブラッドレー、あなたは誠の王にはなれない。
青くそい。誠の王などこの世のどこにもおらん。
I can see all those stars on your uniform. You're the ruler here. Führer King Bradley, unless I'm mistaken. A ruler's duty is to his people. Without them, he is no king at all. King Bradley, you're no true king. Not now or ever.
Naive boy. Don't you understand that there are no true kings in this world?
Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood has a few characters that the first series didn't. Not only are some of the homunculi different, but there are people like Major General Olivier Mira Armstrong, Alex Lewis Armstrong's older sister, Major Miles, Captain Buccaneer, and the rest of the Briggs crew, for instance. There's also the people from the country of Xing, who at first I didn't care for, because I didn't feel like they really belonged in FMA, but grew on me eventually. And there's also General Raven. Who doesn't love General Raven? Well, I know somebody who doesn't.
こんな選ばれた人間になれるというのに、せっかくの椅子を。
新たな椅子など不要。その腐りきった尻を乗せている貴様の席をとっとと開けろ。
You can't. You were going to be one of the chosen ones. You would have been one of us.
I don't need a new seat from you. You're going to lose the one your moldy ass has clung to for too long. Right about now, Raven! You old traitor!
Oomph. I love me some Olivia Mira Armstrong. But there are also like dozens of other characters in this show, and I don't have time to get into them all. Maze Hughes, Alex Louis Armstrong, Izumi Curtis, Soph J. Kimbley, all the Chimera soldiers, Hohenheim. Oh boy, Hohenheim is a character who could get his own video. I talked about Greed in my favorite anime characters video, so go look at that. I wish there had been, like, in the first series, more of Sheska, but she's not a major player in the manga. It's too bad. I want to talk about world building, themes, and specific scenes too, but I think I'm going to wait until the next video to get to those. FMA Brotherhood is a pretty big show that needs a two-parter to get into everything I want to cover. So, as always, please click that like button, maybe leave a comment, and I'll see you all next time. Until then, see ya!
Just read that, then you'll know you can trust us.
It's from Alex, all right.
Aren't you even gonna read it?
A letter of introduction means nothing to me. I don't put much stock in anyone else's opinions of a person. I prefer to judge the people I meet with my own eyes.